Hello, you lovely lot. Today I will print some strange objects. The other day, last week, me and my neighbor, we were destroying some bushes, some tuya bushes, and that took us several days and really hard work, and he cut them partly with this old saw that is called Milwaukee, heavy duty. And I looked at this and I just said, I can print this as a relief. So he gave me the case. And there it's even bigger. So I want to print this today on a Gelli plate. I want to try using acrylics and etching inks, maybe compare a little bit. So I've got my etching inks. I have some colors of acrylics. These are some flowers that my neighbor also gave me. Well, but they're pretty much rotten. I don't know if I can still use them. I get Brayers for acrylics and for etching ink. Some baby wipes, they're quite important. I have cleaned the etching ink Brayers with a baby wipe, and that works quite well. And I don't mind a little color staying on there. Gets more interesting color effects. Some plexiglass to roll the etching inks on. Some paper for the acrylics. This is to put the etching inks on the plexiglass out of the tube or out of the cup. I've got some papers. This time I'm using watercolor paper that is hot pressed 300 GSM because I just want to try out if I can work on it with watercolor later. It depends on what I get from the print. Fabriano printmaking paper, which I've used before, you know it. It's very good paper. And I also got some black paper here because I want to try the Akua in white today. So that's quite some work. Oh, and a baren. This baren is actually a burger press, but it works very good as a baren. So let's get to it. Oh, and I forgot. I kept some parts of the bushes. You can see it. This looks very nice. It's very, very dry. I don't know if I can make some prints in it. It might work with the etching ink, but probably not with the acrylics. This stuff has leftovers as well. And this, how do you call it, the bark from a tree? So I will combine that to be reminded of our collaboration on the bushes. So I start with an acrylic color, burnt sienna by Vallejo. This one's very liquid, so I hope it stays wet on the Gelli plate a little longer, as it is a very hot day. I make the impression of the greens before I print the saw case. As I press down the Gelli plate upside down onto the case, I can already see the letters of the logo being taken away by the case. Cleaning the case, which I won't do anymore after this, as it gives more interesting color mingling. I have put down a blue by Golden, which is also liquid and transparent, as I don't want it to dominate the brown. Don't like this one very much, but that happens often with the first print of the session. If I'm honest, I have the urgent wish to use etching inks instead, so I switched to them for the next print. It is a little dark, but we'll see what it will turn out like. Pressing down the bark again, then some tuya and the dry branch. On this watercolor paper I could paint a nice blue, but I decide later that I'll stick to the pencils. I have covered the plate with the Akua ink in white to print on some black paper now. Bark again, but it doesn't make such a great impression. I like this, and it has some kind of a moon there. Here I am just painting the corner of the Gelli plate with Akua white to print a white flower. It is a fuchsia, in German a Fuchsie, by the way, a flower that my granny loved. Pressing it down with some regular printer paper and at the same time taking excess paint off. Here I am using cotton swabs that have a pointed tip, usually used for camera lens cleaning, but they don't work so well here, so I am switching to masking tape, which always works the best, I think. No pickup color needed, as the etching ink doesn't dry on you. I find that another advantage. You can take your time to think about how you want to go on. As I was not so enthusiastic about the bark and stuff, I want to print a gear wheel. Can you say gear wheel? Gear wheel? As it would harmonize with the saw logo. I am inking up the gear directly to print it directly on the paper. Yeah, I kind of like this intermediate result. Next, the Akua white again. Oh my, professional printers now probably think what a mess I am making here. In fact, it is not such a good idea to put the soy-based Akua together with the oil-based Cranfield, but I got carried away. The plate picked up some of the dog color that was on the box before, making it all the more interesting. Sometimes being messy gives you fantastic results. I mean, when it comes to art. The intermediate result looks good, but I again want to add a fuchsia and a gear print, this time with the Charbonnel Paynes Grey. Yep, like this one too. Now I want to use one of my favorite colors, the Ocean Blue by Charbonnel. and I don't clean the plate from the pinky ink. This flower print turned out to be the nicest of the session. Beautiful details. Picking up some color this time instead of adding with the gear wheel. God, look at that delicate flower shape. Fantastic. I can see that there is a ghost image that wants to be picked up, but I'm picking it up with an acrylic white, just to be sure not to smear the etching ink. Yes, also nice. Now I've got 5 nice prints here, so tune in next week for part 2 when you see me develop them with colored pencils and fine liners. I can't really tell you why I bothered to waste my good watercolor paper here. Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. See you next week.